of this harsh decision of the unfortunate curfew imposition. So the government must, with immediate effect, lift the curfew that it has imposed on we, the innocent people of Walewale. Two, if the curfew should continue in Walewale and its environment, it means that the whole of Mamprogo has been drawn into this conflict, and for that matter, in this curfew, because Walewale is the heart of Mamprogo, yes, and we have nothing to do with it. So the military, if the military or the government want to really make sure that this thing is addressed, they have to withdraw the curfew. Other than that, they have included all Mamprogo in this thing. Three, we urge the government to, without delay, secure the safety of travelers along the Bolga Boku Pulmonko Road to prevent further attacks in other parts of the country. For all we know, there is no difference between the people of Boku and the people of Northeast region. As I was saying, we've seen more attacks, burnings there, yet no action has been taken. So if some unknown government engage in these things, and then all of a sudden we have a curfew, then it means that we are being sidelined, or we are being discriminated because we are Mamprises. Yes. Or the government think that we don't belong to them. Yes. The person who is talking, I am NDC communication member. I am assembly member of Foni. I am NDC communication member. Even in the recent election, I was a ward coordination officer for Foni. That is on behalf of NDC. So they should not treat us as MPP people.
All right, so welcome back. Let's do more on this story because of the happening in Walewale. We understand that a dusk to dawn curfew in Walewale in the northeast region is underway following violence and deaths, but some residents are vehemently opposed to this directive and demanding answers from alleged brutalities by the military. We're asking, is curfew the solution? We've been joined on the line by Idrisu Saibu. He's president, Mamprogo Youth Association. Also, Dr. Victor Doke, he is security analyst with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Well, let's start with Saibu there. Saibu, you are demanding, okay, so let's start with Dr. Victor Doke now. Doc, will the curfew be the solution to all of the challenges we're facing in the Walewale and its environs?
Good morning, Kujo, and to your partner there. I think we need to understand the purposes of a curfew. Curfew is a direct prevention measure that is implemented against imminent or immediate attacks. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the reasons why you impose curfews is to, one, apart from the situation or the context of Boko, to stop the two factions from meeting. You have control over the territory, and then you control the movements. You can determine who does what at what particular time, and it also helps you to, nip or arrest criminals. Now, with regards to the Walewale incident, we understand or we know per evidence and reports how passenger buses have been attacked, right, by some elements who have not been identified yet. It's one of the reasons why the curfew has been imposed by the Minister of Interior to sort of like bring the situation under control. Now you control the movements, and then now you can determine who are responsible for the attacks. I think the problem is the communication, but by and large, curfews in itself do not solve issues. Let's get it. It doesn't solve issues like in the Boko case. It won't solve the problem. It is just one of the many prevention mechanisms, okay, to address the particular incident at a particular time. So with the Walewale incident, we all know it's with regards to the attacks that have been on the those stretches meted out to travelers. So it is a way to just solve that particular incident by and large. But when you talk about the whole conflict, which is also connected to it, it won't solve it or address the entire conflict, but in an aspect of it, which is probably a proximate factor. So I think the curfew have been imposed one to sort of like have control over the area and then identify those who are behind these attacks. But the issue,
but Doc, you know, the issues we understand happen during the day. So why place a curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Are you solving something with that?
well, good question. Now, you place a curfew, 6 to 6, and then issues happen in the daytime. Of course, we know how when, criminals or armed elements want to operate, they don't really mind whether it's day or night. But one of the reasons or the only thing that curfew can do is what? That's the door. You understand? Because then you can't limit the movements mostly part of daytime. People have to go, to business. People have to go to work. People have to, travel and all of that. So daytime curfew, of course, it wouldn't be, advisable. And that would be chaotic more than this. But in essence, you are controlling the night activities, of these elements if they are in the environs over there. You understand? They won't be able to meet in the night. They won't be able to, strategize. And that is why the KPI are proposed.
Doc, while the youth are calling for revocation of this curfew, the member of parliament for the area has also put out a statement. He says, first, there was no consultation with him. Secondly, he thinks this is a politically motivated action. And so he lists about 3 or 4 things. He says there's reasonable security should have been an enhancement of patrol of the highway, an escort of travelers. And fourthly, this preconceived plan was exposed when the military, without provocation, innocently brutalized civilians on the 15th of January. The approach that the Minister of Interior took to handle or to try and curb the situation here, how would you assess that? Considering what the MP is saying, that he was not even consulted.
Okay, to get to the question about the minister, I think when you have a look at the RECSEC, Regional Security Council, its membership, you would notice that MPs are not in there. And I was wondering why, but then in the face of, togetherness and harmony in this situation, you need the MP's voice. Why do you need the MP's voice? To calm the youth down. You need the opinions of the youth leaders, the women's group, the elders in there, because they know the ground, they know the youth. And once you get them on board, now you can be able to assess the situation and then get information down to them that the curfew is not in a bad light, but it's a prevention measure. So we make these criminal elements in the back, which may in turn affect you, also the people of Walewale. I think communication. Now you can have a multi-stakeholder consultation aside the RECSEC. Okay. Now we are looking at how to achieve peace, and you need all the stakeholders involved. And this, in this case, the MP is one, and the leadership of the Walewale people are also important. Now, with regards to the minister's issue, politics and security go hand in hand. Why do I say so? You realize that yes, anytime there's a change of government, the political hierarchy, addresses issues about security. For example, we saw what the president had to do, going to Boko, wanted to understand the dynamics and making changes here and there with regards to the national security coordinators and all of that. Security and politics goes hand in hand. Whoever controls the political aspect controls the security. We cannot do away with that. So I can understand any MP's frustration that it's politically motivated. Yeah, of course, it's politically motivated, because then why do you want to sit down for issues that are this to deteriorate? Because then if we don't make that incident on the Walewale stretch of attacking innocent civilians, it may spiral into something else we could not control, we cannot control. And that is why, people see this as a politically motivated, issue. But I see it in the light of security, safety, and then prevention with regards to what, in the context of what the highlighted conflict that is, they are trying to resolve.
But I mean, aside the curfew, once people are being attacked on the highway, what must the security agencies do to try and arrest the situation? There's something that has to happen. Curfew, you say, is to stem the tide of the activities in the night. But during the day when those actions really happen, what should the securities do?
Well, increase patrols. That's the one thing. You see, we need to increase the patrols we need to engage more. I think security officers also need a capacity with regards to, because now you know where these incidents happen. So you would just be expecting that they would infiltrate those areas and then try to assess whether there are cells or criminal elements in there, and then also enhance, community relationships, because then you get one or two information with regards to who an outsider is or group of outsiders who have come in and then are trying to, perpetrate these kind of crimes. So increase visibility, increase patrols, increase equipment. They need more equipment maybe to assess. Equipment, you can even invest heavily in these equipments and all of that to identify whether there are elements in the bushes and all of that. So I think with this kind of measures, you are sure that you can have some peace, and then travelers can safely move about their duties.
But, sorry, Bruce, Doc, can we really say we may have peace if the member of parliament for this area is openly condemning this curfew? Some of the residents are asking for revocation. Does that, I'm looking at the dangers that this could, produce. Does that not count? Is that not counteractive? The security people, although they didn't consult the member of parliament, he's coming out to say that they shouldn't have imposed a curfew on them. Would the people actually adhere to the curfew?
Right. Now, you will understand that anybody in the Walewale instead would be very much unhappy with this kind of situation, because it's sudden, it stops all of our activities with regards to your human basic needs. And that is why I understand where Honorable Kabiro is. Having known him in 2018 from Japan, I know the kind of gentleman he is. But then, I think this is where I would entreat the Minister of Interior and then the Red Sec to, as quickly as possible, engage some leadership of the Walewale community, and then try to explain to them the purposes for the curfew. Now, if laws are made and enforced and it's broken, you are sure that those who break the law face the consequences. And in this regard, now, in the context of the curfew, if the people do not adhere to the regulations of the curfew, you would expect that the security apparatus will respond. But we don't want to see that. We don't want those engagements to happen at all, which could spiral and then out of control. So I think the way forward now is engagement with the leadership and the people, the youth group especially, because we would expect that they will lead a course. So you involve them in the most multi-stakeholder consultations and then have a roadmap. How long is a curfew going to be imposed or enforced? For what purpose? Let the people themselves help you to identify those areas they think that these elements, use or make their cells and are perpetrating these crimes, and then you can move forward and then have success with regards to what you want to implement.
Doc, please hold for us. We would usher in Idris Shaibu. He's president of Mampugu Youth Association, and they've brought out a statement also condemning the curfew. I just want to get excerpts out there. They say the Mampugu Youth Association strongly condemns the recent attacks on travelers along the Walewale Tamale Highway, as well as the Boko Palunkum Highway in the northeast and upper east regions. These violent incidents are both morally reprehensible and religiously unacceptable. We call on those responsible to cease these attacks immediately and allow peace to prevail. They say while they denounce the actions of those perpetrating these attacks, we also condemn the military's unprofessional conduct in brutalizing innocent community members. These civilians, already suffering emotional and psychological distress due to the ongoing insecurity, should not be subjected to further brutalities and inhumane treatment. Such acts of brutality will not resolve the situation, but rather escalate tensions and deepen the crisis. It goes on and on to say these attacks, we believe, are the root cause of the current insecurities and threats on innocent commuters along the Walewale Tamale Highway, and yet deaf ears have been paid to finding ways of nipping them in the bud. What we are rather witnessing are unprofessional and brute treatment meted out to innocent community members of the Walewale enclave, and this is totally unacceptable. I believe we'll put a statement up on your screen shortly so you can also follow. And we confirm that the military's excessive force has resulted in the tragic loss of a young man's life, an innocent victim with no involvement in the incident. Several others have also lost their lives. So they're therefore calling on the government as a matter of urgency to halt the military actions with immediate effect and exhibit neutrality and fairness in handling matters relating to the chieftaincy conflict in Boko to avoid blowing the conflict out of proportion. Let me get to Idrisu Shaibu now. Sir, thank you for joining us on the AM show. You believe the military is being biased in handling the situation here?
Yes, good morning to your listeners and your viewers, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yes, we as you think that the approach the government is using to resolve this matter is not the way to go. Because for all you know, even those people who are committing these crimes are not the targeted people this military are brutalizing. Now, we woke up on Saturday morning to hear a curfew imposed on Walewale and its environs. And before the Saturday curfew, there was an incident in a community called Loare, just along the Tamale-Walewale road, where a bus was burnt down. Now, the military went to a nearby community where the incident happened, brutalized the people, and as a result, one person died. Then the next morning, Saturday morning, we woke up to a notice of a curfew imposed on Walewale. Now we ask ourselves, what is the effect of the curfew? Now the incidents that happened on Walewale Road, they happened in the daytime. Now we have similar incidents happening in Boku Road, where even under military escorts, people come out and shoot at the military and the occupants of the buses, kill, and nothing happens to those people. There is no curfew in that area. There is no military brutality in those areas. Why Walewale and its environs? Now, if you impose curfew,
are you saying, right before you go on, are you saying there's not been any military action or military presence in those areas where we actually saw attacks on vehicles and commuters?
Please come again.
Are you saying there have been no military presence or no military action in the areas that you mentioned where we actually saw attacks on commuters and on vehicles? But that is what is beating our imagination, because we are civilians. People have been trained as security people to make sure the ordinary Ghanaian live about his life normal, go about his normal duties without any hitch. Now, the very people that these military officers are supposed to protect because of these attacks on the road, because the communities the military attacks are themselves afraid of what is going on the roads. Now, you, the same military who should protect the lives and property of the people, you descend on them again upon the fear they are living in and beat them up again. Now, what are you doing to us? The military are not rather looking for the criminals to arrest them. They are rather brutalizing the people who are already suffering in the hands of these criminals. So we think that there is something that this government has against the people of Mamprugu. In fact, I will not say this government, but successive government, because we have had such experiences, but not to this level. Shaibu, is it possible that you are misconstruing the implications of, or the intention of what the military is seeking to do there? Is it possible that you are just reading it wrong?
In fact, you are a Ghanaian. If already there is something happening in your community that you yourself you are afraid, wouldn't you want the security to come to protect you? We love the presence of the security in our community. But the real criminals who are committing the crimes should be apprehended by the security who have been trained and paid by our tax to protect us, but not to descend on those of us who are already vulnerable.
Shaibu, sorry, I'm breaking in
our community.
Shaibu, when the military come, do they just start beating people, or they try to investigate to understand what the suspect could be before they start attacking?
They don't, in fact, they don't even ask questions. The community where they brutalized and killed this innocent young man, immediately after the incident happened, the military went to that community. Any young man they beat, this guy who died, he has been fetching water and selling. He's a poor boy. They met him and just started beating him, no questioning. In fact, we even have information that an old man was beaten and he died yesterday morning. Adding to 2, the number of people who have died as a result of the brutality. Then, Saturday night, 1 a.m., that's early morning of Sunday, I had a call that a community called Bandi and Tunguri, the military were there brutalizing people at that time of the night. Meanwhile, those areas, according to the regional minister, are not part of the coverage area of the curfew. So please, we have been engaging, the regional minister, to be frank with you, have been engaging with the youth, and we are all working to see how we can resolve this issue together. In the midst of these engagement and all trying to see how these criminals can be arrested, then a curfew.
Has there been any engagement yet?
Can solve this problem?
Shaibu, has there been any engagement yet between the military or the security forces and the people in the community? Have they said anything to you yet?
Not at all. There has not been any interaction with the people in the community. The only interaction is the brutality. And now, even if you now want to find the criminals, do you think the people you are brutalizing will give you information as to how to get them?
Right.
Well, let me come back to Dr. Doka. Doc, you listen to Shaibu there, that the military just pounds on the community, brutalize people without asking questions. This is quite awkward, isn't it? Do we still have Dr. Victor Doke on the line? Okay, so because I'm hearing that the military. Okay, Doc, so yes, I can hear you now. Try and address this first. That the military will just pounce on people without asking questions.
Yeah, so I can understand Shaibu's frustration. Now, with regards to his narrative, unless how we've heard, with regards to military coming in and then brutalizing the people, assuming this is, very factual. I say assuming this is very factual because we are hearing from one side.
Yes.
We are yet to hear from the other side.
Sure.
With this of the military and which consists of the rhetoric, and then they have this state entities and all of that. So assuming this is very factual, then it's against the human rights violations.
Looks like we're having some network interruption.
Interesting, yeah.
But I would wish that the security personnel there could engage the community, people in the community, because for whatever it's worth, if you're looking to find those culpable, it is the residents who can help you because they know who is who. You know what I mean? If you're brutalizing them and they don't have any explanation, to ascertain the veracity of your actions, then they have the right to say that this is a politically motivated action against them.
If we still have Shaibu, have you tried to find out from the regional minister, or have you reported to him the brutalities by the military people, as you say?
Yes, we have reported to him.
What was his response?
On Saturday evening, a gentleman was shot at the chief's palace and killed. And that adds up to the tension that is just emanating from this curfew.
Was this also by the military?
Yes.
So how many deaths as a result of the military brutalities?
So far confirmed 2. Unconfirmed 1, so bringing the total to 3.
Did you see the military doing this, or you are telling us a reporter's speech?
We saw the military doing it. And they can confirm they did it.
Really?
It is not like they were hiding and doing it. broad daylight, anybody they meet, they brutalize you. So young men in the communities had to run to the bushes.
So how many men assaulted the people whom you say are dead now, the 2 people?
In fact, several of the military officers,
Can you put a number to
entered
it?
the community in their numbers.
Can you put a number to the several?
In fact, I can't put a number, but
Okay.
I can say 10 to 15. Yes.
Shaibu, I have to ask, do you see the wisdom in the curfew? Do you think that this curfew could actually help reduce the tension in any way at all? Because you're asking
No.
that it be revoked. Do you see any way that this curfew could actually help the situation up there?
To be frank with you, this curfew is going to escalate tension. The curfew is not going to add anything to the already tense situation in the area. The only thing that will help is that we need more intelligent security officers, not those who are trained to brutalize people.
Okay.
We need people who actually have the skill to go down to the community and fish out these criminals. And I'm even telling you that those people who commit these crimes, they mostly ride motorbikes to commit those crimes and run away. So we cannot even confirm that those people are living within the communities where they have imposed the curfew.
And I realize
So
that we've been
is
saying...
not just the way to go.
We've been saying military. How about the police? Any police presence in the community?
The police are there, but the actions, the unacceptable actions are perpetrated by the military.
Okay.
And this is not the first time. They have done this a number. This is about the 4th time the military are brutalizing people in Walewale for
All
no
right.
reason.
Hold for us. We have Dr. Doke back online with us. And Brace, I think you wanted to find out from Doc.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Doc, to hear that the military are brutalizing the resident without asking questions. According to Shaibu, 2 persons have died as a result of these brutalities. We have not been able to listen to the side of the military. But what do you think is happening here? If we should go by his narration and if indeed what he says are factual.
Go by his narrative, then it means the approach the military is using is not right. In the context of this situation, you want to get information, you want to get to understand what is going on. You need another approach. You need an engagement. You need consultative approach with regards to dealing with every group in the community. But to target individuals, if and assuming we go by the narrative and then it's factual, then they should really look at the approach with regards to interrogation or arresting or dealing with elements suspected to be part of the issue. And I think this calls for a response from the military hierarchy as to whether they will conduct investigations on what happened, and then to understand for us to also make informed decisions, not just based on hearsay or allegations and whatnot.
Doc, would it be wise for the military to recuse themselves so the police handles this going forward?
No, I don't think it would be wise to do that. This is a joint effort.
Doc, your voice is fading away. Could you speak up, please?
I'm saying it won't be wise for the military to recuse themselves because you're talking about a joint effort. The police cannot and may not be able to handle the situation by themselves. Different agencies with different capacities with regards to training and then capacities to deal with this kind of situations. So you need a collaboration from not with these 2 main entities, every security institution in the laws of Ghana, customs, immigration, and all of that. You need all of them. So this is a joint exercise, this is a joint activity. For the military to recuse itself, it won't be wise at all.
But this military have sort of antagonized, they've become the antagonists in the story, in the plots that we are seeing now. How can they win back the trust of the people that they're there to protect?
One of the ways is to, as I said, conduct an investigation into what happened to the 2 incidents, the 2 gentlemen, the narratives, and then let all of us know what actually is the situation, why, these incidents happen. It would be good to also hear from their side because people have raised concerns. So in situations such as this, to find a solution, you hear from both sides. So let's wait and see if there's going to be a response from them.
Well, quite interesting. But from how this, or from where this is coming from, it needs a multi-stakeholder approach. So what would be your advice to, say, the RECSEG, in terms of trying to get a solution to what is happening?
Okay, so apart from RECSEG, and I know if RECSEG wants to do a performance mandate, they'll go strictly according to what the law says regards to the membership. But they should look at the aspect of what community engagement. Now, you need the community involvement. You need their opinions and ideas. So you need the leadership of the community. The MP is one of them. The leadership, the kinsmen in there, the youth groups, the women groups. You need their engagement with regards to this situation. Not forgetting, civil society organizations can also come in this situation. So you can have your RECSEG meeting, decide what is going to happen, and then you can also consult extensively with all these personalities and entities that I've mentioned. So at least you carry each other along, and then it won't be like people are taken by surprise, or situations to get to this at this level, and then you may have some kind of rebuttal, so you have confrontations from the youth especially, which will raise tensions and which can lead to armed confrontations at any given time.
Well, if you listen closely to Shaibu, he says the people they are innocent. Where should the joint forces be looking at for the suspect?
Okay, so this is the initial stages where they have began. One, identification of these perpetrators is what has led to the imposition of curfew. Now, that's one way. And that is why we need to begin to understand the roadmap. After imposition of curfew, what next? How long will the curfew be imposed? You understand? Once you're looking at the engagement with the community themselves. So, while the curfews have been imposed, well, this may be their strategies to analyze and see whether if the attacks are going to continue during the daytime, because then the imposition of curfews is believed to stall or curb the cell meetings of these armed elements or criminal elements. So after that, let's see what happens with regards to the attacks. Once they increase their patrols, get the equipment, go to and then try to engage the community. But by and large, I think the interior minister, the RECSEG needs to come back to the table and then have an extensive roadmap. If they don't, I think they are getting too comfortable with the issue about the position of curfew, thinking it addresses the main concern. It doesn't. It just addresses one aspect of the bigger concern that we have. What will help us all after that curfew? We need engagement. You need to send in emissaries. You need to send in mediators and negotiators and all of that.
Okay.
Try and then engage extensively.
Doc, we are grateful to you for joining us here. Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center.
Well, we also spoke to Idris Shaibu. He's president of the Mamprugu Youth Association. Idris, thank you for joining us.
Last comment?
In about 30 seconds, if you can. Let's go.
I just want to appeal to the government that the curfew should be lifted immediately. And then they should make sure that there is vehicular movement from Bolga Boku and Bolga Walewale freely, without any hinge. If they do that, I believe the security in the area will be secured.
All right.
But for the curfew, if they don't take it off, it is going to create another problem for us in the area.
Shaibu, thank you. I'm sure they've listened to you and hopefully they can do what you're requesting. So Idrisu Shaibu is president of the Mamprugu Youth Association. And this conversation has been on that Walewale curfew and the violence that we are seeing and all that. But you want to stay with us? There's still so much we are going to discuss on a big story segment on the AM show. We'll be right back.